Hola amigos, bienvenidos a nuestro primer capítulo de Chef Step. Hoy vamos a tener un programa muy especial porque vamos a tener un invitado directamente desde Belize. Su nombre es Kuylen. Él hizo sus pasantías en Walt Disney. Cuando regresó a Belize, él creó una idea de negocio que él denominó catering sobre ruedas. Entonces él nos va a hablar un poco de eso, de su trayectoria como cocinero. Espero lo disfruten y bienvenidos.
When you decide to go to the States to make a career in the gastronomy?
So around 2004, I decided, I had a girlfriend then, and we decided that I need to go to school to study for something. And we chose San Francisco in California, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So we brainstorming with my family, and my mom used to say, but you know what, son, you remember you used to like cooking, and when I was younger, I used to cook eggs in the morning and make cakes without the baking powder, and we couldn't eat it, but it showed they reminded me that I had an interest and a passion for cooking. And that's when I decided to go to culinary school.
How do you decide to spread the Caribbean gastronomy culture?
Great questions. I love it because it is what I'm doing now. So I have a logo and it's called Inspired Belizean Cuisine. Of course, if you know where Belize is located in the Caribbean, but we are also Central America. So we're the only English-speaking country in all of Central and Latin America. In fact, what makes that so special is that we are dual citizenship. So we have all the cultures of the Guatemala, Honduras, our neighbors of Mexico, and the Caribbean. I spent about 2 years working in Belize at various resorts here in the country. And then I decided to leave again because I was hungry for more, you know. And that's when I went to Dominica in the West Indies. And I opened a resort there called Rosalie Bay. And after another 2 years, year and a half, I left that island and I went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to another world famous resort called Petit St. Vincent. So all along I was gathering information. First I learned French cuisine from Escoffier in a book. And then I came home and I learned about Garifuna, Maya, Yucatec, Quechua, Mestizo, Creole. And then I left and I learned about Dominican, Pilau, and Kalinagu. And then I went to St. Vincent. And that's how all along the way, I was picking up a little bit of this, a little bit of salsa aquí, and a little bit, and I put everything together. And that's how I created what I am now doing, which is called Inspired Belizean Cuisine.
How do you decide to introduce the mobile kitchen to Belize?
Yeah, so obviously we are in a mobile kitchen. And again, when I say mobile kitchen or food truck, in the United States, for example, it's really a fad. It's everywhere. It's very popular. Every state has food trucks. This is technically a food truck, but it's not a food truck. It's a cargo truck. First of all, I built it because in this country, we can't just go buy a food truck like this. So I took a cargo trailer and I put stainless steel walls and stoves and ovens and everything. And I really physically, literally built this from zero. So this is a mobile, I call it a catering on wheels.
For you, for Sean Kuylen, what is the Belizean cuisine?
You asked the right question, sir. Because if you ask anybody in this country what is Belizean cuisine, immediately the answer will be rice and beans, chicken and salad. But if you ask me what is Belizean cuisine, and I'm glad you asked that question, I would have to answer that question and you have to tell me which region you want me to respond, because we have cultures. We have a lot of cultures in Belize. Again, if we dissect the country from north to south and the islands, in the north we have, remember, we're bordered by Mexico, so we have the influence of the Yucatec Maya, and we have Mestizo. So we have things like escabeche relleno, we have tacos, we have the anato, which is their staple. And once you say Maya, the corn becomes the #1 dish for them.
And in conclusion, chef, what do you like prepare with your cultures?
Yes, again, in the beginning of this speech, remember I said I went to culinary school, and we have, because it's very important as a chef to, or any career, any professional I should say, to have the both theory and practical. So when I went to school and I mentioned Escoffier, right? He's like the father of cuisine and everything, French. Because everybody said that French were the birth of cuisine. And I will say, yes, I understand the techniques or the science of it, the ciencia. But when I took the science of it and I applied it to what we have already been doing in my country, that's how I cook. For example, like a demi-glace is a fancy term in French that you take a brown stock and a velouté or a Espanol sauce, which is just in my country we call it cow foot soup. In the Caribbean they call it bull foot soup. In Mexico they call it mondongo, which is the tongue and the tripe from the cow, and you reduce it and you put a tomato paste or tomato product in it and you reduce it enough, it becomes like a demi-glace. For example, another one would be maybe a French onion soup. In my country, because of the Yucatec Maya, we have a dish called escabeche, which is a lot of onions and acid, naranja agria or lime, or so I started to see similarities. It's just bringing all the cultures together, and that's what I love to do with food.
Thank you. Muy bien, amigos, y este fue Sean Quillen desde Belize, quien nos muestra cómo viajando por todo su país y haciendo una mixtura de todas sus culturas, crea lo que él llama Inspired in Belizean Cuisine. Si quieres participar en nuestro canal, no olvides dejarlo en nuestros comentarios, puedes mostrarnos tu cocina o contarnos tu historia. Hasta la próxima.